Hello and welcome to Country Sports TV. Government have announced that they're going to ban the burning of wet wood and house coal. Now, I've been looking at this morning. It was reported, the reports are mixed. It was reported in one report that we were only going to be allowed to burn kiln dried wood, as wet wood has too much moisture content and puts particles out into the atmosphere, and they want clean air. Now, for us countrymen who have access to wood, I've got a 3-acre garden here, and I cut the trees down this year to burn the end of next year and the year after. I got wood here that I cut 3 years ago that I'm burning now. So my wood is well seasoned. But unfortunately it's outside, it's covered over. But it's bringing in moisture from the air because it's been so wet this year. So are they going to consider that as wet wood? I know I bring it in and put it around the fire, as you'll see on the photograph there. I put the logs around the log fire to dry out more. Although it's a year or 2 years old and is well seasoned. The other thing you've got to remember is that wood seasons at different rates. I can cut ash now, and I can burn it at the start of next season, next winter. Yet, other woods take longer to dry, and I won't be able to burn them until next year. You know, this hadn't been, they just make an announcement, we'll ban it. But hang on a minute, where's the small print? What does it all mean? I don't know. I wrote to my MP yesterday morning, and I got a letter back saying the only thing he knew about it was what he'd heard on the press. So even MPs haven't been had the memo yet on on burning wood and which coal's going to be banned. It looks at the moment, reading the different reports, it looks at the moment that they're going to ban house coal by 2023. They said by next year, but it looks by 2023. They're going to ban the sale of wet wood, and that's freshly cut wood, from next year. Now, how do you tell if wood is seasons? They're blaming the supermarkets and garage forecourts for selling wet wood. Well, the wood you look at the wood at the garage, and it's seasoned wood. It looks a year or 2 old. Just by looking at it, you can tell. There's no sap coming out of it. So why trigger the sale of wood from garages and supermarkets? Now, if I buy wood off the farmer, he'll cut it this year, deliver it this year, so that's selling wet wood. Is that going to be banned? Even though I'm going to keep it and burn it next year. It's a minefield for us, countrymen. You know, they've banned pistols. They've reduced the number of shotguns in ownership. They now want to ban lead. Now they want to ban us burning wood. Gamekeepers, hunt staff, rely on free wood from the estate to keep warm in the winter. When I was working for the Union of Country Sports Workers, one gamekeeper was having problems with his boss. Now, the shooting organisations won't look after disputes between employees and employers. So we used to have to go in and help the gamekeeper, hunt staff, gillies, with the dispute with the boss. Now, we got no power. We couldn't go on strike, could we? But it was persuasion, and it was to basically hold the guy's hand or the lady's hand, chat with the boss, and see if we could sort the problems out. Now, one gamekeeper had a 2 up, 2 down old keeper's cottage. When he moved in, he had round plug electrics. So that makes it 1920s, 1930s. He had a phone, he had electric, he had an old Rayburn in the kitchen for cooking, which was falling apart, and he had an open fire in the lounge. Upstairs was not a lot better. 2 bedrooms and a little room. And they called it a 3-bedroom cottage. It was just, I don't know, 6 foot square little room. It's only a little thing with 1 window at the end. So, we had to almost get the house condemned, unfit to live in. It needed new electrics, new plumbing, and the bathroom was a mouldy extension lean-to on the back of the kitchen. You know, the guy had 2 young boys that, I think they were 3 and 5 at the time. They used to go round to her mother's or his mother's to bath the kids because he wouldn't let them bath in their bathroom because it was so bad. So what they did, they called me in because there was a dispute. Now, we persuaded the boss to upgrade the house, to make a lean-to, and the small bedroom that was in the top of the stairs, to make that into a hallway, a landing on top of the stairs, and then put 2 extra bedrooms on the top of the extension they were going to build. He was going to build the extension anyway. I just think he needed persuading. The planning officer came round because the plans had been made. The planning officer had come round and he planned to put in a new Rayburn in the kitchen with a back boiler for central heating and a new wood burner in the lounge. And that would heat the whole house. No problems. So, the planning guy looked at the plans and said, yes, yeah, I see, yeah, that's going there, that's going there. No problems with that. Then he said, oh, I see you've got 2 wood burners. Yes, we got free wood off the estate, says the keeper. Ah, he says, after 2016, the government, this would have been under 2 Jacks Mr. Prescott, have banned the use of wood burners in new builds. So if you needed planning permission for this, in 2016, I wouldn't have been allowed to okay it. That's the first I heard about it. I looked up online, look at some of the local councils, county councils up and down the country, and many of them had a page in their planning rules that would come into force in 2016, the banning of wood burners for new builds. Now, nothing was said. I don't think anything was ever acted on. Now, government comes out and says they're going to ban the selling of wet wood. Now, according to Defra, what is wet wood? Now, my suspicion is that the big companies that cut wood are being underpriced by little guys, the farmers and people cutting wood. So they want to sell kiln dried wood, which is a higher price. So to cut the little guy out of the market, they might be lobbying the government so that we only use kiln-dried wood. But, looking at the Defra website, I found a fuel emissions little chart. I'll put it up on here so that you can see it. And I'll put it on the Country Sports TV Facebook page as a photograph if anybody wants to download it. It says, emissions. Particles over 2.5 micrometers, right, per grams per ton of fuel consumed. Now this is the emissions that we put out. Household coal is 9.1. Smokeless coal is 1.84. Manufactured fuels is 1.6. And that would be, I suppose, your wood bricks and coal bricks and things like that would still be smokeless. And then it's got wet wood, newly felled wood, 30.28. So Defra is calling wet wood newly cut wood. Now, seasoned and kiln-dried wood, which is wood with a moisture content of less than 20%, is 7.59. Now, Defra are saying that seasoned wood and kiln wood are in the same bracket. The government have just said wet wood, and they've, in the press reports, they were having a go at the supermarkets and garages for selling logs in bags. Well, that's seasoned wood. So that's fake news. I'm going to have to, I got a moisture tester here that I use for my wood. What I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to go out, and when I go and fill the car up with diesel, I'm going to have to test the moisture content of the wood that the garage is selling. Let's see what the moisture content is. Because it's wet and the air is damp, what is the moisture content of that wood going to be? I suspect that it will draw in wood from the air, from the moisture, because of the wet season we're having this year. But I'll go and test it and we'll see. And the next video I'll do on wood burners and wood will be measuring and testing the wood that I've got and the wood that the supermarkets are testing. Now, this is another thing we got to fight. Not only do we have to fight the lead ban and the gun laws that are going to come in and try and stop us, we now have to fight us to be able to heat our own homes. Ian, Country Sports TV, becoming a very angry journalist. Anyway, if you want to stop this, let's get together. Let's what are our shooting organisations and countryside organisations doing to help us? I'd be interested in to know. If not, we are going to have to start a shooting organisation, fish or country sports shooting organisation, that can be a lobby group. Or maybe act as a union, because the union's gone now, and I'm even getting people phone me up now, 3 years after the union has finished, asking me to help them. You know, is it still something that's needed? And if so, it needs to be a broader church. It needs to represent all country sports and country sport workers, rangers and people like that. Now, what do you think? Put things down in the comments below. And the best thing you can do is like and share this video to other social media platforms. The only way that we can help fight together is by spreading the message. Anyway, Ian, Country Sports TV, signing off.